welcome to Monday's Motivational Podcast, brought to you by What Would Marcus Do? Let's go! Let's go!
Great morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you once again for tuning in to the Monday Motivational Podcast. Today we have a special guest, Miss Adhanet Kifle, who is going to talk to us about gratitude. Good morning, Adhanet, and we're happy to have you this morning. First, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. My name is Adhanet Kifle. I grew up in the West Side, Hilltop to be specific. Graduate of Briggs. I'm in the IT field. I've been doing that for about 25 years, where I currently work at Battelle. And then I also serve on the Greater Hilltop Area Commission. I'm a commissioner there where I chair a public safety committee. Okay. And then I sit on the COSI Community Board, which I love because of the things that COSI does. It inspires young people in science and technology.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So this month, our theme is gratitude. So can you tell us exactly what that means to you?
When I think about gratitude, it means you're thankful for what you have, right? Thankful for the little things you appreciate. And I looked up the definition as well. Like, what is gratitude? It's a positive emotion that involves acknowledging and appreciating the good things in one's life, whether it's tangible or non-tangible. So I think it's just being kind to others. And there's this thing where if you're grateful, it will come out, right? You will show gratitude. You're kind to people. You show empathy.
Yes, ma'am.
Especially those who are grateful.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. All right. When we think about those who've paved the way for us to be free and have rights such as integrated schools or even voting, how do you think we can show gratitude for those freedoms?
I think you should exercise your right? Those that fought for us, that died for us, that went through hardship for us, to me means that when we have the opportunity to do something or something is presented to us, I think it's upon us to at least do it.
Yes,
go out and vote.
Yes.
When we're talking about technology, he said something about technology, no? Or
as far as like integrated schooling and as far as like voting.
Yeah, I think it's great. I remember in, 11th grade or 12th grade, I had an African-American physics teacher, Mr. Martini, and I wanted to drop physics because my first test, I got 65. Oh. And I thought, hell no. Like, I'm not going to have, sorry, I'm not allowed to curse. So I thought, this is going to bring down my GPA. So I'm going to just drop this class. It was my senior year. Senior year, I wanted easy A's.
Yes, ma'am.
And I went in and I told Mr. Williams, I said, hey, I'm going to drop this class because I'm going to graduate with honors. Yeah. And he's like, what do you mean you're going to drop my physics class? I was like, well, it's too hard and I'm not trying to work hard my last year, right? Mm-hmm. He yelled at me. He was like, do you know how many black people died for you to be here? Do you know? And then he just went on, screaming and yelling. And I thought, oh, my God, I can't drop this class. Then, of course, he went with, I'm going to tell your dad. How do you think your father's going to feel about that? So, of course.
You can't do that.
No, but when he said that, though, it makes you realize, like, he's right. I mean, how many folks really fought for us to be there, to compete, right? To have the same opportunity as everyone else, especially when you're an African American.
Yes.
We should try to take advantage of those opportunities when they're presented to us.
Yes, ma'am.
And we should try to pave the way for others as well, because there's still work that needs to be done.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree.
Yep.
So explain how gratitude can change or affect our communities.
I think when you're grateful, you want the same thing for others. Yes. You want the best for yourself. You want the best for your community, right? And I think you also know that we're all interrelated, right? There's that interdependency. Like, your happiness and your well-being is important to me because it's going to impact me, right? Ma'am. How you react and how you act. Yes, so I think gratitude is in a way for all of us to try to exercise it, but also something that we can give back to the community.
Yes, ma'am. I totally agree with that. What is one thing we can do daily to show gratitude?
Oh, my goodness. Where do we start? My thing has been, especially now that I've gotten older, my late 40s. I count out how many years I got to 50. My thing is to show gratitude because being from a different country,
Yes,
and also being an African American, I know how critical and important it is for us to be grateful for what we have so far, right? I'm so fortunate. But at the same time, I want to make sure it continues for my younger nephews and the younger black and brown kids, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So one way I do it is I try to give back, whether it's community service, whether it's just doing the little nice things, even when others are not looking.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I think it does come back to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. All right, and lastly, can you talk to us about the state of our Greater Hilltop community and how we can do our part moving forward with gratitude?
Yes, Hilltop. Here's a great thing about Hilltop. I love Hilltop only because of our resiliency, right?
Yes,
we are loyal people,
yes,
and we're resilient. We're strong. We're fighters. Yes, there's a lot of challenges in the Hilltop.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of changes that needs to happen.
Yes,
A lot of improvement that needs to happen. But at the end of the day, I feel like when you run into someone and you're like, "Hey, I'm from the West Side," it's like, "Oh, West Side."
Yeah.
Immediately, you have that thing in common,
Yeah.
and we're loyal to one another. And I appreciate that about the West Side.
Yes,
I think there is some improvement that needs to be made in the West Side. I think we could do a lot better for the West Side.
yes,
When I think about back when I graduated in '95. It's like to still see that it hasn't really made a significant improvement
yeah.
compared to the rest of the Columbus.
It's kind of
it is. It really is, especially when this is your home.
Yeah,
You're like, man,
most
come
definitely.
on.
Yeah.
I want
It's
to make
like,
some change. Yeah. And so
Can't
that's
forget
why,
about us.
No, and that's why I love living where I live, right there on 1 Avenue. It's like
That's
I'm back in the hood, but you know what? I'm okay with this because I know where I can be.
Yes,
If I wanted to, I can be in Grandview or Upper Arlington, but I decided to come home.
Yes, ma'am.
And so to me, what's home is comfort, knowing your people, and knowing that you want better for those people. So that's what I want to work towards too.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, again, thank you, Ms. Kifle, for joining the podcast.
Yes.
And for anyone that wants to find you on social media, how can they do so?
I have a website. It's KIFLE for Ohio.com. You can do the number 4 or you can spell out the FOR. And then my email address is I probably should give info at KIFLE for Ohio.com.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
they send me an emails. And then my cell phone number is 614-378-5119.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll take text, calling, email, whatever.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Thank you again for coming out. And thank you to all the listeners once again for tuning in to the Monday Motivational Podcast. I'll see you right back here next Monday at 9/11. Have a great start to your week with a smile. But don't go anywhere. Stay tuned for more information from What Would Marcus Do.
What Would Marcus Do is a 501c3 organization with a mission to provide hope and resources with a smile. For more information about resources, partnership, donations, and volunteer opportunities, visit us at www.md614.org. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Simply like, share, and follow us at www.md614. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't ever miss our podcast.
That's it for our Monday's Motivational Podcast. Join us next week and have a bunch of smiles.